Alright, so we got the stock tires on. They get changed out here tomorrow, honestly. I want to do some testing on acceleration and braking of stock 31s basically versus 33 and a bit. So I'm going to hammer down here and see how fast we go 0 to 60. There's no rocket ship, that's for sure. And there. 14 and a half, 14.6. I was a little late on it, and I let off just a skosh. No need to crush it, just kind of for guesstimating it. So 14 and a half, give or take. One with the power and the overdrive off, one not. Alright, so breaking down 0 to 60. I'm gonna speed up, set my cruise and set it at 60. And then brake real hard. But not crazy hard, like I don't want to ruin my brakes, don't get me wrong. We're right at 60. Across this post, I'm going to brake down hard. Right there. Right, so the braking test, well, not super scientific. I set my cruise at right about 60 and I hammered on just a tiny bit, probably before the actual mark, but I didn't put it on it real heavy either. I don't want to completely mangle my brakes. Like, they're getting worn, they need to get replaced anyway, but about 175 to 190 feet braking distance from 60 without really putting my foot in it. Now I guarantee we could have shortened that up, but it gives you a bit of an idea of where we stand with stock tires and road tires. And we didn't skid, we didn't, nothing like that. Just stopped nice and smooth. I'd love to see if it feels a little more hairy with the bigger tires, or if it takes a lot longer distance no matter what. So once we get them put on, we'll do a video of that and show you that. So we got the new tires on, still the same brakes. They do need to get replaced, but again, it's not that we're gonna get a lot better stopping or starting, it's just you get more consistent stopping when you have new brakes. So I'm not super worried about it influencing the numbers. It is a bit windy, but it's crosswind, so hopefully that's not going to mess it up too. And again, it's not like we're going for science here. We're just going for fun and a little bit of knowledge. So we got the new tires on. They're 295 75 R16, so that's 33.4 inches. So just a little bit bigger than the standard 33. Normal for this would be 285s, which is like 32.8 is what a lot of folks put on this rig. So hopefully this will be a little bit informative, and we'll see if we got a faster slower 0 to 60 because of the weight and the spinning weight especially, right? Spinning resistance is a lot more to overcome than just weight, but these obviously way more. They're quite a lot bigger. It's a fairly heavy tire, so let's give it a try. So again, I'm just gonna hammer it down. I don't have anything set, nothing different. I'm not like flooring it with the brake on to rev up the engine or anything. This thing, you look it up, it says like this again goes 0 to 60 in 8 to 10 seconds depending on where you look. Yeah, I'm not getting those numbers, but it's got 150,000 miles on it, got bigger tires, and weighs a little bit more than what it says it weighs stock, which it shouldn't, but I don't know, we'll give it a try. $17.7. Try again. Look at these and go. That is going to be a little faster. 17.6, pretty much exactly the same, and a little bit slower than before, because we were like 14 and a half, so 3 seconds slower with this much tire. And also, I'm not running high octane or anything like that, but we're not getting any knock, we're not getting any early ignition, which is the whole reason for octane, but that could be a whole nother video. Alright, we get to 60. And then hit the cruise and then brake down, just like last time. There's 60 and right after the other. So definitely longer braking and longer acceleration. Again, without being super scientific, went about 230 feet on the braking. I think we're at like 175 to 190 the first go round. So we have definitely added some to the braking distance here with this extra weight. And again, the brakes are not great. There's nothing special about them. They're a little bit worn. They're going to need replaced, obviously, so it's not super scientific in that regard either, but it was a good test for the weight. It has gained rotating weight, rotating inertia, and so it does take a lot more to overcome that. That being the case, now we know, and you can feel it. Like if I'm driving this thing, I've only driven it a little bit just the way it is. If I'm driving up a hill, you can tell it's working harder to get to that next shift. When I'm braking at a stop sign, you can tell that it's taking a little bit longer to brake. I have to brake a little harder. You're gonna wear your brakes out way faster with a bigger tire, and you're certainly gonna put a little more wear and tear on your rig. That's the drawback, right? You lose that zippiness and power, and these aren't really zippy and powerful anyway. So it is capable, but I find I'm likely gonna have to drive it even harder and shift harder and do a lot more manual driving, as far as shifting into second, shifting into low, turning off the overdrive, running it with the power setting on so the shifts go higher, which again will affect efficiency, gas mileage, and stuff like that too. But it is interesting to see that it did exactly as expected. Braking times were longer. Acceleration time went from basically 14 and a half seconds to 17.6, 17.7. So we gained 3 seconds slower on 0 to 60. Like, that's pretty significant. So a quick video, or a quick conclusion for the video. Right, changed out the truck tires, braking took longer, acceleration took longer, and it was a lot. And at first I was like, wow, that's a lot more than I expected. Then a little epiphany happened, like, oh yeah, duh. And I know this because I've driven lots of vehicles with oversized tires. Of course, I've gone up in circumference, and this is reading a speedometer set up for a much smaller tire now. So at 60 miles an hour, you're actually going 65. So if the speedometer says 60, you're going about 65. So we were actually taking a little longer to get there because we actually had to go approximately 5 miles an hour faster. And same from braking down from 60, you're actually braking down from 65. So distances were quite a bit longer, and for both braking and for acceleration. No real surprise there, we expected it. Of course it was more than expected, but that's why. I probably should have done it off a GPS for the miles per hour, although that's not terribly accurate either. So we get what we get. I do notice it takes a little while longer. It is a little more foot pressure to brake, and you definitely notice on acceleration, especially going up hills, you do lose some power. Of course, everybody knows this. It's not a surprise. And we went up 2 inches, but that's a lot of rolling, weight. That moving momentum, it matters, right? It's gonna have an effect. So for our first mod on the LX470, first modification is bigger tires. Oh, and we took them out, and they did amazing. They're really good, and they are so quiet in comparison to what I expected them to be. My mud terrains that are 35s are very loud, very loud. These 33 KO2s, they're barely louder than the street tire. It's amazing. I was so impressed. So good traction. Got them a little muddy, got a little bit in the rain and the wet, definitely over some rocks. They did fine, and man are they quiet. Really impressed. So we'll get back with you with another video coming up sometime in the future about the next thing we do with the build. This one we're gonna keep it pretty stock, pretty normal, pretty user friendly. Just go with some basic stuff because it's gonna have a different purpose than the white Land Cruiser, which is serious overlander, serious off-roader, long trips. This one right now, maybe more of a weekend warrior, but we'll see where we end up.